What's going on, y'all? Coach Lenny here, and in today's exercise video, we have a low impact strength workout for you. This workout is for anyone who's above the ages of 65 plus, considers themselves an older adult or an elder, specifically in my community. All you need is a chair, about 15 to 20 minutes of your time. And once you complete this workout, I can guarantee you're going to feel stronger than you began and feel more confident doing these exercises. So we're going to get started with the warm up first. We'll go into our exercises. Just got 4 of them today, and then we'll finish with some stretching and our cool down. As always, listen to your body, make sure you're doing things safely, and let's get started. We're going to come to the edge of our seat to begin our warm up, sitting up nice and tall. And let's start with our seated marches, moving our hands, picking up our feet, just as if we're taking a nice walk, brisk walk in the park. So for this warm up, because it is just a short total body strength workout, the warm up is going to be pretty quick, quicker than I would normally do if I were doing a full workout for about 45 to 60 minutes. So if you need to pause this warm up or pause this video at any point to continue on the warm up and do it just a little bit longer, by all means, be my guest. All right. Let's bring those knees up just a little bit higher on these seated marches now. Now remember, don't want to rock side to side. We want to keep a nice posture up tall, moving our hands as if we're walking, because again, we want to try to simulate our everyday activities. Nice. Let's bring that walk down now, and let's go to some seated ankle pumps. So I'm going to start with my right side. I'm just going to press down on the gas and off the gas. Down on the gas and off the gas. These here, just getting our blood flowing through the ankles, all the way up the backside of the calves. Just a couple times on each side. And again, if you need to do more, go ahead. I'm doing about 8 to 10 of them. And switch sides. As you're doing these ankle pumps, you want to think about just trying to press super hard down on the pedal. I try to think about like if I were driving, right? And I want to go full throttle, full speed. I'm going to press all the way down on the gas, feeling the tightness in the back of my calf, and then releasing that, letting off the gas. There we go. So as I mentioned today, we got a total body strength workout. We're going to start with some squats, seated rows, working the lats a little bit, work our way down to our calves, and then finish back in the chair for some seated shoulder presses. All right, so upper body and lower body today. Total body, as I said. Nice. And now we're going to go back to those seated marches or that seated walk that we were doing earlier. And now we're going to implement some shoulder rolls. So I'm just putting my hands on the top of my shoulders, and I'm making a circle with my elbows. If walking or doing the marches and the shoulder rolls is a little bit too much for you, then you can stop the walking and just do the shoulder rolls. Right? I'm just doing this so that way I can continue to get your body nice and warmed up for this short segment of exercises that we got for you. All right. And then let's go the opposite direction. I'm going to pick back up walking with my feet. There we go. And again, most importantly, listen to the body. Are you starting to get warmed up as you are doing these marches, doing these shoulder rolls? You want to feel loosened up because it is a shorter warm up than normal. Like I said, you can do it a little bit longer, but you want to feel nice and ready to go before we start these exercises. And one more time, opposite direction. There we go, and we'll shake that out. We're going to complete our warm-up with an overhead side bends. We're just going to reach to the side nice and easy. 1 time, then I'm reaching 2 times, and I'm going to reach for a 3rd time. Now, each time you reach, you want to try to reach a little bit further than the first time. So let's switch to the opposite side. So same thing, going with our side bend, overhead reach. Breathing, never forgetting to breathe, right? Inhaling and exhaling. And with each time that I raise my hand overhead, I'm trying to reach just a little bit further in this warm-up. There we go. Stretching out those obliques, a little bit of the lats, because like I said, we're going to do some seated rows today that work the lats, the back side of the body. There we go. And we'll go one final time for each side. Again, if any of these stretches in the warm-up, these dynamic movements feel good to you, you can pause and do them just a little bit longer. There we go. Last time on the right side. and final one. Nice. Feeling a little warm. How about you? So, as we go into our exercises, I want you to keep in mind today we're just going to complete 3 rounds of 8 reps of everything today. Now, if you feel like you have more endurance, if you have some weights in hand, you can add this to your exercise. But today I'm just going to only show you body weight exercises. So if you feel like you need to increase the reps to 10 to 12, you can do that. Or if you feel like you want more of a challenge to add some weights to it, you can do that as well. But the most important thing is to listen to your body, but also I want to emphasize quality over quantity. So you may think, hey, I can do 20 of these, Lenny. That's cool, but are you doing them correctly, right? We want to focus on form, so quality reps. Let's go. Let's begin with some chair mini squats. I'm going to come to the side of my chair and turn my chair sideways so that I'm on the back side of it. Now, in this first round, I like to think of my first round with all my exercises as a warm-up set, a time for my body to get acclimated to the movement and understand what it is that I'm doing. So as we begin these chair mini squats, I like to think about as if I'm going to sit down on a bench, or I'm going to sit down in a chair, or maybe even going to sit down for the toilet. Okay? Using the back legs of the chair, I want to try to line my feet up with it. Okay? If your chair's legs are too wide, then bring it in a little bit. You want to try to be about hip width apart. So I'll be showing you from a couple different views throughout this workout, but just follow along and try to pay attention to my form and technique, and I want you to do the same. So let's begin with our first round of chair mini squats, placing your fingertips on the back of the chair, keeping my chest up, and I'm going down like I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm coming up. There we go. Remember, we only got 8 of these, so if you need to pause the video at any point, you can do that. And 4, there's 5, thinking about keeping my feet flat on the ground, 6, and 7, last one, and 8. Nice. First round complete. Now, in between your sets, you want to try to rest about anywhere between 30 to 45 seconds in between to allow your body to rest fully. Okay? For the video's sake, I'm going to kind of be going back to back throughout these exercises. So again, be sure to pause, rest for about 30 seconds, and then continue on with your next set. I'm going to change views here so that way you can see both sides of my body, what's going on. Okay? Again, lining my feet up with the back legs of my chair, focusing on keeping my chest up as I go down into each squat, coming up. And another key to focus on when you're doing this squat is you want to try to look straight ahead. Don't want to look up and strain the neck, right? Or you don't want to be all the way bent over, curving the spine. 4. And as you go down, pressing through your feet to stand up, squeezing the backside of the glutes. There we go. 7, last one, and 8. Nice. Should be feeling good there. Feeling in the quads, maybe a little bit in the glutes. A good indicator to know that you're doing exercises correctly is think about what movements are you doing and where should you be feeling this at, right? If we're doing chair mini squats, squats in general target the lower body. So if you're feeling this in the back, you might be leaning over too far forward, okay? If you're feeling this anywhere you shouldn't be, try to reassess and think about your form. All right, final round here. Our last 8, let's make the best one here. Chair mini squats, we're strengthening our lower body. Here we go. 1, and 2, 3. Thinking about that bench or the toilet that I want to try to sit back into. 6, and 7, making sure my knees aren't going way forward, right? Don't want to see any of that because then that lets me know the hips are not going back like they should. There we go. Final ones. And relax there. Nice job. Let's move on. We're all about strengthening the body, but I'm going to make sure to give you enough rest. All right. So since we just worked those legs, let's bring it back to the chair for some seated rows. Again, I'm going to show you in a couple different views so that way you can see my form and make sure that you're doing it correctly. So we got some seated rows here. This is targeting our lats, middle of the traps a little bit. Again, I'm doing this with body weight, but if you have some dumbbells or some ankle weights or maybe even water bottles that you'd like to place in your hands to simulate this movement and add a little bit more of a challenge, feel free to pause this video and grab those now. All right, so for seated rows, you want to make sure that your spine stays nice and long. We don't want to be hunched at the back, okay? So for me, I'm going to sit up nice and tall, starting at the edge of my seat. I'm going to slightly lean forward about 45 degrees, fully extend my arms just right below me, okay? This is my start and stop position. I'm going to grab a hold of those imaginary dumbbells if you don't have any, okay? And then I'm going to take my elbows and drive them straight back, just like that. So keeping that nice long posture. I'm not hunched over like that, but I'm sitting up nice and tall at a 45-degree angle, taking my elbows, and I'm driving them straight back for 3, 4. Remember, this is our warm-up round, set number 1. So I'm just trying to get a feel for the movement. Where should I be feeling this at? Am I doing it correctly? How's your form? Checking the form, right? Are your arms fully extended? Are you at a 45-degree angle? 7, and last one, 8. Nice. So a couple things to emphasize with our seated rows. It's a pulling motion. So you want to think about you're pulling something towards you, right? You go to pick up some laundry maybe, or pick up your bags or a basket or groceries, right? We go to pick it up and we pull it towards us, okay? That's our back muscles that we're working with. I want to show you from a different angle, okay? So I'm going to turn laterally so you can see what's going on, making sure that you're pulling both sides evenly. Okay, let's go for set number 2 here. We got 8 reps, seated rows at a 45-degree angle. Arms are fully extended below me, grabbing my imaginary dumbbells, and I'm pulling straight back. 1 and 2 and 3. If you are needing somewhere to look at, I try to just find a focal point just right below me, not super far down in between my feet, but just right ahead of my feet, and also not super far up because, again, we don't want to put any strain on the neck. So just right below at 45-degree angles, at a 45-degree angle, taking my elbows. Notice I'm driving them straight back. If you have those dumbbells, those imaginary dumbbells in your hands, we want to keep them as close to the body as possible, okay? Don't want to be out super far wide and put strain on the shoulder. Last 2. Squeezing as we pull back, and last 1. Nice. Recovery. For my final round, I'm going to be turning, facing the opposite direction so you can see now my right side of my body. Again, focusing on good form and technique. Don't overthink it. Just, again, focus on what movement are we doing, a row. What muscle are we targeting, flat, a little bit of the traps, and are you feeling it there, all right? Think about squeezing the sides as you pull those arms straight back, okay? Last set here. Now, with a little bit of shoulder tightness, sometimes we can tend to elevate the shoulders as we roll straight back. If this is your movement here, nope, don't want that, okay? We want to relax those shoulders down, keep them away from your ears, and pull straight back, taking my elbows straight back, keeping the dumbbells close to my body. Here we go. I got 3 already. How many do you have? 4 and 5. If you're sticking with 8 today, that's all right. Doesn't matter where you start, okay? It's all about you showing up for yourself and getting in this workout. 5 and 6. Here we go. 7. Last 1 and 8. Nice job. How we feeling? You still with me? Strength training has so many benefits to it. Not only do we look good, right? Get a little bit of muscles out of strength training, right? But we feel stronger. We feel more confident to do things on our own. Don't always have to ask somebody to do something for us because maybe we don't have the strength to reach up and grab it, right? Or reach down and grab it, right? But you continue to implement strength training into your routine. This will contribute to independency. It'll also contribute to increasing your bone strength. So for our standing calf raises, I'm going to place those fingertips on the back of my chair here, not squeezing and holding on, because I do want to use some of my body weight, right? And I'm going to bring my feet close together, and I'm just coming up on the balls of my feet as high as I can, as high as my body will allow, and right back down, okay? These are standing calf raises. Here we go. We're going for 8 of them. If you aren't able to get as high on your toes as you would like, that's all right. You just got to build up the strength in those feet muscles as well as your calf. Continue to do this over time, and you'll notice that you'll be able to get up on your feet a little bit higher each time. And 6, last 2, we got 7, last 1, and 8. Nice. Switching sides so you can, again, see me from a different view. And if you notice, I specifically chose the warm-up exercises to prime the muscles that we're using for this strength exercise. Those ankle pumps we did earlier, we were getting those calves ready just for these standing calf raises. Here we go. Let's go. Set number 2. We got 8. If you were my 8-rep group, you're with me. If you're knocking out 10 to 12, feel free to pause the video at any time and knock out your extra ones. 4 and 5, coming up as high as I can on my tippy toes. 6 and 7, last 1, and 8. Nice job there. We'll shake that out. I'm going to stay on this side for my final set, giving myself about 30 seconds to recover here. Maybe you want to get a drink of water in between this time, pause the video, and come right back to set number 3. As I was mentioning earlier, another added benefit of strength training is the increase of bone mineral density. Osteoporosis is a prominent health disease in the ages of 65 plus. The older we get, our bone mineral density tends to decrease, especially in the Black and brown community. So a way to counter that and help with that is by doing strength training, weight-bearing exercises to not only strengthen your muscles, but strengthen those joints, those bones. So here we go. Let's go. Set number 3. We got standing calf raises, final 1 for 8. And then we're moving on to our final strength exercise. You're almost done. Stay with me and let's keep it going. I got 5, 6, and 7, last 1, and 8. Nice job. All right. I told you I'd give you a little bit of recovery off those legs. So let's bring it back down to our chair. We got our final strength movement, which is seated neutral grip shoulder presses. So for our shoulder presses, we're focusing on our shoulder muscles. I want to make a point of emphasis. If you need to sit back all the way in your chair and use the back of your chair for a little bit of back support, you can do that in this exercise. Again, but still focusing on not relying on the back of the chair, but relying on your posture, using those core muscles. Okay, don't want to be slouched like this, right? Want to be sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to come to the edge of my seat. For this first warm-up round, right? Notice if your back is getting a little bit tired, then scoot back and use the back of the chair for a little bit of support. Okay, so for our seated neutral grip shoulder presses, I'm going to place my hands just like this right in front of my face. My palms are facing each other. I'm grabbing those imaginary dumbbells, all right? We're thinking, what, 5, 10 pounds? Maybe 20s if you've been doing this for a little while. So my elbows are here. I don't want to go super high and I don't want them super low. My hands are just right in front and I'm pressing straight up like I'm lifting something over my head. Okay? Just like that. Nice and easy. And remember, in this first set, treat it like a warm-up round. Trying to get used to it. Where are you feeling this at? Are you doing the movement just like me? Does it feel different to you? Here we go. These are neutral grip shoulder presses, simulating raising something over our head and bringing it back down. Maybe putting our coat up on the hook or trying to grab something from the top shelf. There we go. And last one, then recovery. Nice. Shake that out right there. I like to shake my limbs out after I do a movement because I don't know, it just makes it feel a little bit better. For those that are sitting up at the edge of your seat or maybe even sitting back using the support of the chair, I want you to watch my posture, okay, and watch my hands in this set. If you notice that when you go up to press, it seems a little bit difficult to go all the way up, that's okay. The most important thing is that you don't lean back to get your arms all the way up, right? Because my core is no longer involved. My posture is going down, but that you go as high as your arms will allow, as comfortable as your arms will allow. Sometimes we have a lot of shoulder tightness or stiffness or just shoulder issues, okay? We're still able to do exercise, right? Pain doesn't always eliminate us from being able to do things. We just have to make sure that we're intentional about our movement. So if this is your range of motion that you can go, that's okay because you're still getting in the exercise. You're still doing the exercise. Over time, your range of motion will increase the more that you do this motion. If you've never done this motion in an intentional setting, right? Focus time with this amount of reps, it is going to feel a little bit different to your body. And last one. But again, we don't want to always associate pain with not being able to do our exercises. We just got to listen to it and understand what is it that we're feeling. Once we determine what it is that we're feeling, okay, if it's I'm not able to go that far because it does hurt when I go all the way up, then just reduce the range of motion. Or it's not painful, my muscles are just getting tired. So that's because you've done 16 reps now or 24 reps. That's the good thing about exercise. You can always modify it to your body, to your fitness level, so that you can still get a good workout in. Here we go. Last and final round coming up. Set number 3 of seated neutral grip shoulder presses. My palms are in front of me. I'm grabbing those imaginary dumbbells. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and I'm pressing as high as my body will allow me to, as comfortable as it feels. And again, I'm focusing on breathing as I press. I don't want to hold my breath, but I want to press and breathe at the same time. I got 5, and this is 6. Pressing overhead. This is 7, and final one, 8. Nice freaking job. So we worked the legs, we worked the arms, a little bit of the back. That is your total body strength workout. Now let's ease on into our cool down so we can bring our heart rate back down, stretch the muscles that we worked, and get out of here and enjoy the rest of your day. Since we're already in our chair, we're just going to stay here and go with a chair hip flexor stretch. This one can be a little bit difficult, so be sure to watch me so that way you can see what's going on. So I'm going to turn to my left side to begin with. My left thigh and a little bit of my right glute is on the chair, okay? And I'm not fully holding onto the back of my chair, but I'm lightly grabbing onto it. And I'm going to drop my back leg down with my toe into the ground, just like this, almost like a modified lunge, okay? I want to sit up nice and tall. And as soon as I drop this back leg down, I'm going to feel a bit of a stretch right here. And remember, with your stretches, you want them to feel good, not like they're just ripping or pulling or super tight, right? We want them to feel like a nice pull happening right here with this right hip flexor. And I'm breathing, holding my stretches for about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to release that, bring this right leg around. I'm going to rotate to my right side so I can do my left side. Dropping my left leg down. My right foot is flat on the ground. I'm sitting up nice and tall. My back toe is in the ground. And I'm keeping both knees bent about 90 degrees. Okay. Now, even with our stretches, just because it's a stretch, you don't think that, oh, I should be able to do this, right? It's okay. You may still have some muscle soreness or muscle tightness, or the hips may not open up as wide, and that's okay. But do, again, what your body will allow, even if it's halfway there, just like this, over time, as you continue to stretch and build a consistent routine with strength training, with stretching, then the body will loosen up a little bit more, right? There we go. Release that. Come around nice and easy. I'm going to stand for this next one. This is called a standing calf stretch. Stretching out those calf muscles that we worked earlier. I'm going to use the back leg of my chair, placing my left heel down, and my toes are resting up against the leg of the chair, just like this. And I'm going to lean into that. Now, the objective here is to try to keep that heel down as far as you can. If you find that your chair, sometimes my chair moves forward. If you find that your chair is moving on you, you can go to a wall and do the same thing. I'm leaning forward, keeping my chest up nice and tall, and I'm breathing, inhaling and exhaling, holding this calf stretch for about 30 seconds. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. How we doing? All right. Just finished up some really good intentional movement, focusing on strengthening the lower body and the upper body. So now we just want to show some love and stretch out those muscles that we worked today. Going into our calf stretch here, my heel is down, my toe is resting against the back leg of the chair, and I'm just leaning slightly into this to where I feel a pull on the back side of my leg here. Sometimes it might even feel a little bit deeper into the hamstring if you're really tight. And relax there. Shake that out. Just gonna set my chair to the side here for this stretch, just for the shoulders, rounding them out, getting that backside stretched out. I'm gonna interlock my fingers and press away, bringing the hands down. Don't want them up super high. And I'm just leaning slightly side to side, getting a nice little stretch in that upper back. I'm breathing and I'm holding this. There we go. Nice. And release that there. All right. We have completed all of our stretches. Now let's finish with a couple big deep breaths so that way we can ensure that heart rate has come back to steady state and you're nice and cooled down. So we're take our arms, we're gonna inhale up, reaching all the way up, and exhale down. Another big inhale. Think about inhaling like you're airing up a balloon, and exhaling like you're letting the air out of a balloon. One final time. Give me the biggest deep breath you got. Inhaling all the good and exhaling all the bad. And a round of applause for yourself. Your low impact strength total body workout complete. Nice job to you for showing up for another intentional workout to strengthen your body, your mind, your spirit, and most importantly, adding stronger, healthier, independent years to your life. If you enjoyed this workout and you want to continue doing more safe, simple, and effective exercises, follow along, subscribe to my channel for more workouts just like this. I'll see you on the next one.